This is a Bangarang Community Podcast.
We were meant to climb on high.
Welcome to Sum It Up, your one-stop shop for all things Denver Summit FC, with plenty of side hikes into the greater NWSL landscape, women's sports in Denver, and everything you should know about the culture and community of soccer at 5280. I'm Kaylee, and with me is my co-host, Matt. We have an incredible episode for you guys today because our very own Denver Summit FC earned those 3 precious points on the road last weekend. Let's go. Before we dive into that, Matt, let's go peak to peak.
I mean, I'm just going to touch on what you said. Post-win pods are so much vibier than post-loss and post-draw pods. So this is a great feeling. Not a lot going peak to peak. I think it'll be more important that we jump into the game. But as part of what we're going to talk about in the game, we brought up last episode Kaylee Kurtz's Pride fundraiser that she's doing in partnership with Athlete Ally. And we've tallied up after the performance against Houston. This was a particularly good defensive performance from the attacking standpoint, in Janine Sonis's 2 goals and Ayo Oke's assist. So we should be at $60 for the prize pool from the Houston Dash match. I will say we almost got that clean sheet, which I don't know how she will account for that, if each defender contributes or just Abby, like how that works, if it be $20 for 1 clean sheet or they all earned it. But if not for that penalty, which we'll talk about later, I think Abby and the defense earned that clean sheet and it could have been 20 more. So great start for the Pride Raiser for Kaylee Kurtz. And as we talked about last episode, everyone will have the opportunity at the end of the month to match her total for a chance to be entered in a drawing for her game-worn Pride jersey. And if that's too high dollar, which is something she said she totally understands, you can show that you donate anything to an LGBTQ AI plus organization, and she will enter you in a drawing for her game-worn boots from that Pride match. She did say they'd be smelly, so you would know they're game worn.
Authenticity guaranteed.
Yeah, you want to open like a fresh box, and you're like, these aren't game worn. And then speaking of the upcoming Pride game, local favorites and social magnates Megan and Megan of Megan Married Megan Instagram fame announced they'll be partnering with Denver Summit for the Pride Game festivities this weekend. Stay tuned to their socials for more announcements and to the game day this Saturday to see where they pop up. Similarly, Niners is running a bus to the match at Dick's Sporting Goods Park from the 99ers bar on East Colfax. So look at their socials to get your bus ticket. They did that for the last match in Commerce City, and that was a fantastic time. A great way to get to and from the city and the stadium without having to worry about Ubers, the new VO, sit-down scooters, or any transit options whatsoever have you.
All right, now let's move into the meat of the podcast. What a game that was. So after a frustrating loss in Boston, Denver went into Houston needing a win. They absolutely got one. This was probably Denver's most complete performance of the season so far. The match itself had quite a start with a 96-minute weather delay. Once things finally kicked off, Denver looked sharp, composed, and clinical from the opening whistle. We saw Nick Cushing take a couple of changes defensively, with Natalie Means number 4 and Ayo Oke number 7 coming into the starting back line. And I thought both helped stabilize things a bit after the chaos we saw against Boston. The emotional storyline here definitely comes in with Yazmeen Ryan and Delanie Sheehan returning to Houston for the first time after the off-season trade, and both were excellent. Yaz in particular looked dangerous the entire night and ended up with 2 assists. Denver opened up the scoring in the 16th minute when Yazmeen Ryan, number 9, dropped a beautiful ball across the goal for Janine Sonis, number 6, at the back post. Side note for anyone keeping up with the personalities and preferences of your dear hosts here at Sum It Up, a goal scored at the back post is my personal favorite. I did coach high school varsity soccer for a brief stint in my life. And one thing I always had to yell and make sure the girls were staying on top of was a back post. So Janine, my girl, I absolutely loved seeing that. Anyways, back to the game recap. In the 34th minute, Tash Flint, number 26, capitalized on a Houston turnover high up in the field and calmly finished it to make a 2-0 lead. Her anticipation was lethal in that moment. Shortly after, Tash Flint fouled Dani Colaprico. Houston was awarded a PK. Maggie Graham was the one who took that penalty kick and scored it in the 43rd minute to make it a 2-1 Summit lead heading into halftime. Now, halftime has been historically so far very critical for Summit. So unlike in the Boston match, Matt, why are you giggling at me right now? It's true. It's true. Halftimes have been a little rough for us the last couple games.
I mean, I'm just going to put this out there. We used to joke on our Rapids podcast that Stan Kroenke only paid the Rapids players for 1 hour of play, so they'd win for 60 minutes and then lose in the last 15 of each half.
Okay, well, our team showed out this week for sure. They played the full time and they were on it the entire time. Unlike the Boston match where Denver lost a little control late, this time they responded immediately. Just within 4 minutes of the second half, Ayo Oke, number 7, delivered a cross that found Delanie Sheehan, number 24, for Denver's 3rd goal. And that pretty much killed the momentum that Houston had been building. From there, Denver controlled the game far better than we've seen in recent weeks, and Sonis, number 6, added her 2nd goal in the 72nd minute off of another Yazmeen Ryan assist to close out the 4-1 win and secure Denver's first ever brace from Sonis in her 100th NWSL start. Absolutely an electric game, start to finish. Well done, ladies.
This was amazing. You were hoping for a get right game. I think we had talked about maybe like a 1-goal differential for a win, and we'd be super stoked. But to come out and making a statement like this with 4-1, I thought that was wild. I liked how we talked about last week. This needed to be a 95-minute team, and not only did they have to be a 95-minute team, they had to wait an additional 95 minutes before the game was supposed to start to then be a 95-minute team.
Yeah.
Things like that for teams that aren't going to find ways to win can just completely dismantle the mojo and send them into the game start without any belief or any rhythm. So to wait for that, and we're going to play Janine's answer about the vibes for the game to the question you asked in the postgame presser. But I thought that's just such a feat of team concentration and camaraderie to go through that weather delay and then to come out and just give Houston Dash everything they could.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know how much people are keeping up with every player's Instagram story. I know that is definitely a personal hobby of mine to keep up with it. But you could just see the vibes in the locker room during that delay. They were playing music, kicking around, kids were playing, it was a whole vibe of let's loosen up, let's get ready for the game. And it definitely showed.
Yeah, I think some of the game things I want to talk about, because we had mentioned these leading up to the game, was kind of the fullback positioning, and what we saw with Ayo starting at right back and Yaz switching over to the right wing side and starting on top of them was some amazing interplay between those two. The passes, the way they were pulling the defenders with their joint angles and freeing up space for Janine, the midfield, to come through, for Melissa and Tosh to operate. I thought that was fantastic. I think we saw a lot more dynamic passing scheme and progressing the balls up the field with the addition in the midfield of Natalie Means. It gave us a few more options. I'm going to pull up a graphic real quick to show the passing patterns that led to goals in this match, because I think it was really cool to see what the Summit did. So Haley, you'll see this on the screen right now. The cool thing, this will talk about the shots. Houston had 7, we had 14, but the expected goals, we generated them all out of open play. That really speaks to a team that's getting their chemistry right. You look at this passing screen, and we're here in the green making the angled passes going back and forth, almost like we're tacking between the sides of the field. And we still have that middle of the field gap that we probably need to work on a little bit more. But look at how much we are passing across the final third and the top of the box of Houston Dash. I mean, when we were watching the game, that was everyone parading up to the 18-yard line. You had Tash and Melissa. Janine was getting up there. Midfield, Devin and Delanie were rebounding there. I think this was a really strong performance offensively. And then another comment we're going to hear from Nick later is that this was also a really strong performance from them defensively, because outside of that penalty, which I don't think should have been awarded, this is a clean sheet on a good team after the Summit had done back-to-back 3-goal give-ups in there. So this is quite a statement game and rebound game for both sides of the ball.
Yeah. For anyone tuning in audio only, I definitely recommend you check out our YouTube video for that segment right here. I mean, it just perfectly depicted how, with Boston, they weren't creating as much. They survived for long stretches. But against Houston, we were punishing mistakes. We were handling the adversity. Everything was in control for the majority of the game in our hands or at our feet rather. And it was just, that visual was a great depiction of what that looked like.
Yeah, we'll post this on our socials on Blue Sky. So if you don't follow us, just sum it up on Blue Sky. We also have the Evergreen Sky feed there that aggregates all Summit player mentions and game recaps. So it's a one-stop shop to get all of your Denver Summit FC notifications. I do want to play a little game with you real quick. After this match, Kaylee, I'm going to give you a pop quiz. Are you ready?
No, I'm maybe.
Yeah, I know. Didn't prepare you whatsoever.
You didn't even give me a heads up.
Yeah, no. Why would I do that? So
a true pop quiz. All right, let's do it.
After this match, for some of the soccer stat nerds, everyone has their different preferred website. I use FotMob and SofaScore a lot for my soccer statistics and research. So I pulled up the top 5 rated Denver Summit players after all of the matches this season so far. Top 5. We're going to go in reverse order and see if you can guess them. Who do you think is the 5th best rated Summit player?
Oh my gosh, Matt, the 5th best.
I'm going to tell you after each one, so it'll help you as we progress.
You're going to tell me where they're placed if I get it right?
I'm going to tell you the correct answer. I'm not going to tell you where your guess is placed.
Okay. Number 5.
So number 5.
I'm going to Yazmeen Ryan.
Incorrect.
Okay.
At number 5, with a FotMob season rating of 7.04, is German forward Melissa Kostler.
Okay.
Information, who do you think is number 4?
Goodness. Carson Pickett.
I was going to say, maybe just say what you said before. Number 4, Yazmeen Ryan, especially coming out for a 2 assist performance with a 7.13.
You guys,
is the 3rd highest
I can't
rated?
believe you're doing this to me right now.
No,
all right, number
great.
3.
Guys, this is 10:45 at night right now. This is a late night pop quiz.
A late night pop quiz that is a true pop quiz that I had no idea what was coming. In reverse order, that's so hard for me. Can I go number 1?
No, because I want to go reverse order, because then it's going to put me to another talking point. Let me nerd out here.
Okay. I think number 3 is... Wait, yes. Okay. Janine Sonis.
Correct.
Oh,
Captain Canada, Janine Sonis, number 3. Put it on the board.
Wow, Matt, the shock on your face right now that I got one right is both astounding and embarrassing for me. But I'm happy to be right.
I believed in you the whole time.
You did. Right. Thank you. Number 2. Wait, I forget where we're at. So it was...
So the second best so far, number 5 was Melissa Kostler. Number 4, Yazmeen Ryan. Number 3, Janine Sonis.
Okay.
I think listeners are probably screaming at their AirPods right now.
Yeah, they probably are. They're probably like, this girl's never watched a single game in her life. I'm going to go Carson Pickett.
No. Number 2, Tash Flint.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I 100% in my mind was like, she's already been said.
A goal a game on her new contract.
You know what?
3 for 3.
It seems like the position for podcast host is now up for grabs. I'm going to go ahead and fire myself for forgetting that one. I don't know how I did. I thought that I had already said her somehow. I'm not sure. Look, I'm just going to go with the fact that it's 10:45 at night. Okay. Yeah.
Well,
Tash
here's
Flint.
redemption time.
Yeah.
Number 1 rated Denver Summit
If it's
player
not Abby
thus far
Smith,
this
I'm going to
season.
riot.
It is Abby Smith. Badoom.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know how to enter sound effects in the studio, but
Sound
yes.
effects entered here.
Yeah. Abby Smith is the top-rated Denver Summit player this season. I talked to her about this at training, asked her the question. I was like, even with giving up 3 goals in each of the last 2 matches, you still had the second best save of the week in the entire NWSL in that Boston Legacy match, is statistically a top goalkeeper in the entire league. And how do you continue to stay sharp in the face of conceding goals? And she goes, I don't really follow the stats. It's a team effort, and it's about going there and doing what the team needs to win. And that's just like, that's the best answer. Which leads me to my next point. We've been talking for the past few weeks about Abby Smith's candidacy for the U.S. women's national team goalkeeping pool, and that Emma Hayes definitely needs to take a look at her. I know Emma was out here for that San Diego Wave match. I don't think those goals conceded were really on Abby, so maybe that wasn't the best audition, but what Abby's doing in goal this season is a tour de force. And in this Houston Dash match, she was playing against U.S. women's national team goalkeeper Jane Campbell. So I think it's one of those, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. Like, to have current national team goalkeeper as the foil in the match where you're stunting out between the posts, that's got to be great exposure for her. And I would love to see the national team take note.
Yep. I agree. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, so that was my pop quiz. Also, I could just gush on Abby and try to make her case for the national gig.
I think if I could have done it 1st to 5th, I would have done better because I knew Abby was number 1. There was no other way. And I think it just really tripped me up there, but that's okay. That's all right.
I'll say this is my fault. This one's my fault. Yeah.
Well, it
Next
just
week,
goes to show everyone can learn.
Spring a pop quiz on me.
It's going to be on pop culture, okay? So just get ready.
Done. Okay, what is it going to be? I know Olivia Rodrigo just met Lamine Yamal, and now the whole internet's blowing up. Let's go.
Okay. All right, fine. I'll bring it next time. Don't you worry. I'm going to think of something.
I have our Instagram
Matt.
logins too, Kaylee. I know how to scroll.
Yeah. Do you see all my funny DMs to the players? Because we have been chatting and they're funny gals. What can I say? Anyways, back to this. Man, a late night podcast is just an unhinged version of us. So listeners, you're welcome. And I'm sorry. I don't know which one is more appropriate at this time. Yeah. Sum it up. Sleep it's like when deprived.
Yeah, so NWSL After Dark matches are the ones that get chaotic because they're played after like 10 p.m. Eastern time. This is Sum It Up After Dark, so just as chaotic energy.
Yep, that's the brand of tonight. Anyways, into the post-game presser, we heard what was different in this game going into the second half, both from head coach Nick Cushing and Summit players number 6, Janine Sonis, and number 9, Yazmeen Ryan. It was fantastic to get to talk to them after a win. The last couple post-game press conferences, it's been a lot of heads hung a little bit, still trying to keep them hung high, but the vibes were different this time. A lot of smiles, a lot of gratitude. And here's what they had to say.
Yeah, I want to play these clips because, Kaylee, you got to do the winning post-game presser. That was super fun. Hallie and I were covering other games. So let's start off with your question to Nick Cushing.
Hey, Coach. Kaylee with Summit Up. Aside from obviously scoring the goals, what did you see tonight that you want to see repeated in games going forward?
Resilience, grit, determination, a real deliberate, conscious, defensive stability. You can see, we pressed a little bit to create some chances, and at 3-1, 4-1, you don't need to win 5-6, 7-1 from your defensive phase. So we sat resolute and, didn't take breaks, mental focus, all the things you need in this league. I said earlier to you guys in the week, it's meant to be difficult at this level. It's the highest level of the game. So it's meant to be tough, and you're away on the road in Houston. you're probably going to be put under pressure, and you've got to absorb that pressure. And I think tonight you can see by, they get penalty, but outside of that, not so many chances, really low on the non-penalty expected goals. And in the moments when we did need individuals to step up, Kaylee Kurtz, Ava Gaetano, Abby Smith again, our fullbacks were good. We're going to need this to execute results. You can't just attack everybody in every moment. You have to absorb some pressure at times, and we did that really well tonight.
Thank you.
So there you have it. That was your first question with Nick. Any thoughts on that?
My
Any
first
thoughts
thought
on that,
was,
Kaylee?
whose voice is that? Because I always hate hearing my own voice, which is a funny thing to hate as a podcast host. Anyways, my thoughts on his actual response. I mean, just well said. They want to see the grit continue. I think they are really finding their groove and seeing that hard work pay off, and see what being a 90-minute team does. 95 minutes through and through, you can get through, this adversity. So yeah, loved it from Nick.
Yeah, I really like the point he made there with, you can't just attack your way through an entire game. There are going to be points where you have to defend, you have to absorb pressure. I think that's what we saw those last two matches. We came out and attacked those, but then when it came time to defend and absorb, we didn't have the full span of 90 minutes in us, and this game really, really proved the concept there.
Maybe we need
Let's
a
move
weather
on to-
delay every team, every game. Maybe we just need a little extra
No,
time to have a
trust
little
me,
extra vibe.
That's not the case. Actually,
I know.
so I will speak a little cross podcast again. We do have this superstition that if there's a weather delay at a Rapids game, the Rapids always win.
Look,
That's
sometimes
a
people just
home
need
game,
a little extra time to get the jitters out.
or like to hear the right playlist, like maybe the
Mhm.
song didn't come on that you needed pregame, but with 96 minutes of delay, you can listen to
Right.
the whole playlist.
Yeah, you can choreograph an entire dance if you'd like. Truly.
Yeah, that super generic chicken and vegetables meal that you have 3 hours before the match will fully digest, so
Yep.
your tummy won't be grumbling. Yeah, it works out.
Yeah.
All right, let's
absolutely.
move on to Janine and hear what she had to say to your question with regard to the vibes in the locker room.
Janine, Kaylee here with Sum It Up. What was it like in the locker room going in, after the last two games? What was different this time between the conversations with you guys?
Honestly, the vibe just felt different all day, this whole trip, yesterday traveling, this week in training. I think when you go through these kind of spells of being challenged, like we have been the last 2 weeks, you either capitulate or you rise to the challenge. And, we have a great leader in Nick who really never gives up, and was very intentional when he came into training this week to get us where we needed to get to. And then it takes buy-in from the players to believe in the playing style, to believe in what's being taught and the things that are being expected. And then the vibes were just really good today. We've had a fun day. I think we all handled the delay really well and just kind of went with the flow and went out there. And once we were finally let loose, we obviously had a really great performance. So hopefully this is a turn in the tide for us.
Thank you. A turn in the tide, no doubt. I love talking to Janine.
This is something we talked about last podcast with the post-game presser. Janine came across as a captain who was deeply unsatisfied with that performance against Boston Legacy. Not one that looked like their team had gotten beaten, but looked like their team gave up what should have been a win, beat themselves, if you will. And we expected a big performance out of her, both in leadership and on the field. And hell, if we didn't get it, 2 goals, a brace. She got not only her first goal in Evergreen, but decided to tack on one more for good measure. That's wild.
Yeah. I mean, absolute all-star game by her. And just, I like seeing her leadership develop over the season. She's been great to watch that develop and see it on and off the field. And like you said, you could tell that everyone wanted more. Not just the fans, the frustration we feel. Imagine how they feel. It's absolutely great to see her response.
When we talk about Janine's ability up for the game, let's take a point to shamelessly plug her coffee venture. If you watched her Instagram this week,
Yes, of course.
Is it 90 Brew? Her coffee venture. Apparently, Janine is very much a coffee aficionado, so go check that out. if you're listening to the podcast right now. All right. Well, let's put this post-conference to bed with your question to Yazmeen Ryan of her 2-assist fame and her return to Houston on this mat.
Hey, Yazmeen, Kaylee with Summit Up. Great to see you. Great game. Janine was just talking about how you were the 2 assists for her and how much she loves playing with you. What does it feel like to be part of just that motion, even when it's not you the one that's scoring the goal specifically?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, since I got to play with Janine in Portland, I knew that, I mean, we connected there, and I knew that when we got the chance to truly play together, whether she's outside back and I'm forward, or, just on the field at the same time, then we've always connected so well. And so when I got here, I was just extremely excited to play with her, and we've been talking, of course, like about it, and we just have such a good connection on the field, and the way that we play really complements each other. So, I know where she's at always, and it's honestly a pleasure to play with her.
What was different about tonight going into the locker room and coming back out? You guys definitely seem to have a different fire about you in the second half than you've had in the last 2 games. What changed?
I think it's just time for us. I think that it took us maybe a little longer than I think that we expected to have a full performance like that. Because that's what this team is capable of, and that's what we know we can do game in and game out. And so I'm just really proud that that was the response from the last couple games. And now it's just about carrying that and always maintaining that, because that's our standard and that's how we play. So just keeping our identity and really just having that buy-in. And yeah, just being 90-minute focused.
Awesome. Thank you. 90-minute focused. That's the key. That's the key. And they unlocked it.
Was the other part of that? She said, just time together.
Mm-hmm.
I
really like how it's been consistent from the get-go is have big expectations for the team. We're going to get there. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in 2 games. They're a new team, a new franchise, players that haven't played before necessarily together. It does take time, but have those big expectations. Every single player and every single staff member is expecting great things from themselves and from each other. And I think that really shines in every possible conversation they have with us.
I thought a point she brought up that I want to touch on, playing with Janine with Boston and Denver coming into the league. Those are teams 15 and teams 16. So previously 14 and less teams in NWSL. So many of these players have bonds that they forged on the same team or playing against each other. I think we saw that play out in the post-game scenes of this match, especially with Abby and Delanie and Yazmeen. So many hugs, so many smiles, so many just getting to see each other's faces again. It seemed like pure joy and a really good sense of community.
I love being alive in the era where we have so much media on the actual players and such a close look, because you get to see that joy captured and you get to see those relationships in real time versus just reading about it in the news later on. I just love how much the team is able to bring you in to that life and that experience. Not me gushing about the media, but I love being part of the fandom, and it just feels such a genuine joy to be a part of it all.
Yeah, I think that's one of the huge advantages and successes of the NWSL is their ability to have such a big tent and to really cast out these genuine parasocial relationships that exist insofar as to then bring you to the stadium, bring you to the team so you can form those genuine social relationships. It's a very invitational experience, a very invitational audience. Once you're in the stands, the vibes are just always so much fun.
Yeah. Great time, great vibes all around, which we will be continuing as we take on Orlando Pride. Now on to our last segment, which is a little preview and a little score prediction. Matt, take it away for us.
Yeah, so speaking of vibes and audience and community, This is a May 16th game. It's the last home game for Denver Summit until, knock on wood, they open their Centennial Stadium on July 3rd after the World Cup break. So if you haven't been to a Summit game yet, there's no excuse. Show up, show out. Pride Night games are always a festive riot. I want to see everyone decked out in their most colorful attire. This is the first reverse fixture match that we have in the Summit's history. We've already played Orlando Pride as the second ever Summit game. We played them at their place in Orlando to a 1-1 draw. This game, just to recap a little bit, saw the onset of Melissa Kostler, our German number 9, get her first goal, and then the inevitable Barbara Banda put one back to get the draw. This was kind of a tale of two halves in that match where Denver came out hot, really looked like the dominant team. And then around halftime, maybe a little bit before, Orlando kind of showed up and showed who they were. The game ended with them winning the possession battle, having a much higher XG. They ripped 22 shots on us and had 38 touches in our box. This was another one of those Abby Smith stand on her head games to keep the scoreline as such. So those expectations are how I'm going to lead into what we talk about and predictions for this matchup. I think away is one thing, and Orlando probably didn't have a lot of film and know what to expect with us from the get-go on that one. So we surprised them and then they came back, but now they're coming to our turf. And I think this is a game we have a really high chance to win after that performance we just put in Houston Dash. I think we should be as healthy as we're going to get coming into this game. No one left the last with Knox. We'll, of course, talk to training on the injury standpoint. I do want to say Yazmeen Ryan was at training last week. She's now off 2 crutches. She has 1 hand crutch to help her with the boot after that ACL. So she's looking a little more spry in her mobility. We're all thinking of her and looking forward to her rehabbing and getting back next season. 6:45 at the Dick. Good news is that Orlando isn't coming in their strongest form right now. They are going to play a match, listeners, probably today when you're listening to this, against Boston Legacy FC. So that'll be a good litmus test for us to know what will fare this weekend. They did win 1-0 over the Courage, but then they are coming off back-to-back 4-2 and 3-2 losses. Does that sound like anyone we know?
Hey.
A 0-0 draw against Gotham and a 2-1 win against Angel City, or Immigrant City, as their amazing t-shirts say. So I think bringing them to altitude, bringing them to our home turf, bringing them here after a 4-1 statement rebound game against Houston, we stand a really high chance of winning. We know Tash is going to score a goal because that's all she does these days. We do know Barbara Banda is probably going to score a goal as well. But with our fullback and captain Janine Sonis ready to go with a brace, I think this is a really I'm gonna say this is a really possible win for us. What do you think?
I'm thinking we're gonna win. My score prediction is 3-1. I think Tosh is gonna get another goal. I think Yaz is just itching for a goal. And you know what? I think we're gonna see another Yaz and Janine duo situation. I don't know which one it'll go to, but I think 3-1 is gonna be our score.
3-1. Okay. I'm going 3-2. I think I said this the last time we played them. I think Barbara Banda is inevitable. I think she's either going to get a brace or she's going to get one, and Haley McCutcheon is going to get the other one. No offense to the defense for the Summit or to Abby Smith. I just do think they have that attacking prowess, and remember how many shots they put up against us last time. I think Tosh is a lock-in goal scorer for me. I think Yaz, kind of like you said, she got those 2 assists. I think she's going to get one on the board. And then I think Melissa Kostler is going to do did you guys forget about me? Like she did so much beautiful number 9 work occupying the center backs of Houston Dash last week that facilitated those other 4 goals that usually when you do the dirty work, your team sees that, and next game out, they make sure that you get to eat as well. So I think she gets her goal there.
I like it. I like it, except for the fact that you think 2 goals are going in Abby's net. But, I respect your reasons. I respect your reasons.
I feel like I've offended you for
You
Abby.
have.
Like,
You've offended when you
how
said no
dare
offense to the
you?
defense. I felt offended. I get no one is calling for me to join the defense, but I'm offended for them. So I think that there's a chance they get 1 on a maybe minor mistake, but I don't think they're getting more than 1 in.
There are just some goals in soccer where there's nothing you can do, even as the opposing team, but just tip your hat and move on. It was a worldie. And
Yeah.
Orlando Pride have a number 9 that seems to only score worldies.
Okay, well,
Just trying
like
to
I
be
said, I
realistic.
respect your decisions and your realism. I like to live in my world. So we'll see who's correct.
Fortunate for us, we've got fullbacks and attacking mids that only score worldies too.
Agreed.
And
Thank you. Thank you for that.
we didn't touch on this enough in the recap of Houston Dash. That Ayo to Delanie header was just like chef's kiss.
Oh my
The
gosh.
cross
It was
was perfect.
incredible.
And from the moment you saw the angle Delanie was taking, you knew there was no doubt that was going in. So yeah, Abby should have gotten a clean sheet, but Yaz gets 2 assists and Delanie gets a goal against their former club.
But I mean, end of the day, the girls were connected. They were dangerous. They were a unit against Houston. So I'm looking forward to seeing that against Orlando Pride.
Yeah, let's bring the momentum and show out.
On that note, make sure you guys always check into our socials. You can find us on Instagram at Summit Up Show and at Summit Up on Blue Sky. Till next time, sum it up.
Sum it up.
Sum It Up is part of the Bangarang soccer community, telling soccer stories a mile in the sky and straight on till morning. Check out our Colorado Rapids sibling show, Pidcast, and our soccer conversation series, Interrobang. Most importantly, we aim to be a collective human soccer show for community-minded soccer humans. So do your best corner flag slide right into our DMs.